Hi folks, how's it going out there? Spring, beautiful day, woohoo! Outside doing this stuff is awesome. So, if you watched my trailer last week, I said I'm going to be direct about 3 subjects and pointing my finger at you today, knowing that there are 3 fingers pointing right back at me. So I'm guilty of a few things, or more than that probably, that I'm going to be talking about. So there's 3 subjects. First one is the indifferent Christian. Number 2, anyone that is struggling with addiction. Number 3, homeless. Let's start with number 1, the indifferent Christians. The indifferent. Have we as Christians given up on the homeless? There are people in churches that are indifferent about the homeless. Have we given up on those in need before we started? Are we all talk and no walk or actions? Are we not doing anything? Sometimes I feel that most of us, including me, are at the end of start, basically. We're at the end before we started going nowhere. Are we watering down the principles of the Bible? Some Christians that are similar to ships in a sea floating with no direction. Floating around basically without purpose. So where's the lighthouse? To bring the indifferent back to center of Jesus' teaching. In other words, we've slightly given up on the homeless. We look as if though there's no hope for them. All we are doing is pushing homelessness into a profession. And I ask all of you to rethink your Christian values. Where is your faith for the needy? We have to solve the indifference in our hearts before we can truly help others. I'm going to say that one again because this is kind of like the focal point of what I want everybody to understand. We have to solve the indifference in our hearts before we can truly help others. Matthew 6:3, but when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what the right hand is doing. Think about how you can give to the needy without giving them monies, So basically just your time with them is very valuable to them. Just say hello, say, how are you today? See where that goes. Or volunteer at a shelter or bring food, clothing, or toiletries to the church, that works too. The next verse is a toughie, a real toughie. I've not been able to do this one basically, so what a character issue we've been studying in the church basically this opens up in your heart, a character issue. So Isaiah 58:7, is it not to share your bread with the hungry and bring the homeless poor into your house and your structure, basically. I know folks from our church have done that. They really have. And, here's another one for you. Proverbs 21:13. Whoever closes their ears to cry of the poor themselves will be calling out and not be answered. I'll say that one again. Whoever closes their ears to the cry of the poor will themselves be calling out and not be answered. Now here's another one for you to digest. Luke 14:13 through 14. Says, but when you give a feast, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and you will be blessed because they cannot repay you. For you will be repaid at the resurrection of the just. Boy, keep all that in mind. Just think about how you could possibly do those things. So, I'll be honest, I'm not sure I could do some of those things. I was homeless once and I needed, basically my help. I was helped with shelter, believe it or not. I found shelter and some people helped me, which gave me a step up at that time. We all have to start somewhere. So I'm challenging, all of you, me and everybody. We need to stop changing the homeless into homeless pros. We need to be able to give them hope where they need it. And the homeless need help with a step up, with housing, shelter, detox. And in my opinion, the biggie here is Jesus. They need Jesus. Okay, that's enough pointing my fingers at you and myself. Let's move on here now. Pointing fingers at, basically. Number 2. Anyone struggling with addiction or people trying to correct their lives or godlessness. But you have to wait for part 2. Stay tuned. Stay tuned to part 2. How to stop being homeless today. That's it, folks. See you down the road. If you have questions about recycling your heart, come to the Community Vineyard Church or Google the Vineyard USA website and find a church near you. Contact them and there will be someone there to help you.